Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very expensive episode. That's right, it's bourbons that cost a lot. Are they good or not? Alright, so, big opening, but we're going to back it up. So big shout out to Anthony Q. So he sent, the Wild Turkey Generations, that hitter sample. We reviewed that a little bit ago, but he also sent a few other samples, and tonight's the night we're going to talk about them. Okay, so first up on the list, Rabbit Hole Raceking. And you might say, well, Bourbon Bill, I've barely heard of Rabbit Hole, but Raceking, never heard of that. Neither had I. Until he sent this sample and I looked it up. What you have to know is MSRP is $400 on this bottle. And Rabbit Hole tends to be too expensive for what it is in general, and that's really the truth. But I thought $400, this thing better do nasty, dirty things to me for that kind of price. I had to look up a few facts about this because I didn't have the actual bottle. So you're going to get it tonight. You ready for this one? Okay, it's a double chocolate malt. Okay, alright. A one-of-a-kind mash bill featuring chocolate malted wheat and chocolate malted barley. So it's pretty high malt. And that would be from the malted barley. So it's wheat and barley. Aged in new American oak barrels. Doesn't say for how long. It comes from Kelvin Cooperage, the barrels. And it says 5 distinct grains, 3 of which were expertly malted. Not poorly, not average, expertly malted. Look out. And it says the barrels were toasted and charred the traditional way with a wood-fueled fire. Doesn't fire char them all? How the hell else you charring them? Kelvin Cooperage, blah, blah. Comes in a fancy box. Only 1,365 bottles are produced. It says tasting notes. Double chocolate malted grains make their presence known right out of the gate as a sweet scent of cocoa rushes forward, flanked by aromas of brown sugar and toasted bread. If you're charging me $400 and you're giving me toasted bread notes, you can take a hike to hell for that kind of money. Proof on this bad boy is 109.8, compute 54.9% alcohol by volume. So there you go, that's Raceking. Is it worth a damn? Let's give it a try. So thank you, Anthony, for sending this. I'm quite intrigued to give this one a try. Do I smell $400 hairs? No, I don't. Uh-oh. I smell disappointment. I smell regret. I smell a tinge of youthfulness. So all jokes aside, what do I really smell in this? We get the chocolate's there, but it's actually drowned out by a lot of fruit. There's the cocoa, the chocolate, and then there's the wall of malty fruit. And a little bit of chocolate. It doesn't smell old at all. Let's take a sip. Oh, that's not good. I wouldn't even pay you $50 for that. Oh. If you like single malts or scotch, this might be your jam. This is not doing it for Bourbon Bill. The chocolate notes there, and then I just get single malt, scotchish notes of that barley note, pretty heavy through the mid palate. And there's a little fruit at the end. It's kind of harsh and thin, astringent even. It drinks hot for 109 proof. Yeah, I wouldn't pay anywhere near MSRP for that bottle. It doesn't deliver a good mouthfeel, doesn't deliver a good finish, doesn't deliver anything really exciting. It just tastes like an astringent single malt with a little bit extra chocolate. And that's what Rabbit Hole is bending you over the barrel that they would charred, by the way, for $400 hairs. Instead, pick up a single barrel Chattanooga Cask strength, I might add. This one happens to be Barrel 91, which is their SB091 recipe. If you want high malt in your life, do it right. A little Chattanooga. This is like 50 doll hairs. Let's see if it beats the old Raceking from Rabbit Hole on the nose. Absolutely crushes it. Absolutely crushes it. Yes, the Rabbit Hole's got a little bit of, like, you know, chocolate rice cake note going on the top there, but there's more fruit, there's more caramel, there's a little bit extra oak on the old Chattanooga here. Let's take a sip. Chattanooga's more cohesive, better mouthfeel, better, more well-rounded. It's got caramel, oak, fruit, faintest hint of that single malt note if you want in there, but it's delicious. Raceking, besides a little like that, like I said, that rice cake cocoa note on top, it's got nothing else going on with it that's good. For $400, whoever founded Rabbit Hole, I forget his name, should be damned ashamed of himself for robbing people like you for that kind of price. Hard pass. Go buy Chattanooga instead for 50 bucks. And if you hate it, you only wasted 50 bucks. Which you shouldn't. I mean, this single barrel is good. I know that they're all not this recipe, but this particular recipe is very good. So that expensive one didn't make the mark. Next up, though, one that I've long hoped to get. A. Smith Bowman Cask Strength Batch 2. Look out. Oh, man. Cannot wait to try this. I've only done 2 of these Cask Strength A. Smith Bowman so far. This year, 2023, should be the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever they announce that. This one is $100 hairs MSRP, but, you know, $1,000 hairs secondary, whatever. People go nuts for this. If you didn't know, this is, you know, Buffalo Trace Distillate, Asian Virginia, at the A. Smith Bowman Distillery, Fredericksburg to be exact. This one was 10 years old and 144.5 proof. So hazmat, 10-year-old Buffalo Trace for $100. Who is raising their hand and wants a sip of this? Everybody. Can't wait. Can't wait. Because it's a small scale bottle, we're going to use the small Glen so I can save a little bit to savor later. Alright, I am pretty excited for this one. Always wanted a bottle of this, but it is lottery only. You got to sign up. Maybe you get it at the distillery, you have to pick it up at the distillery. It's like pretty much Virginia only. It's hard to get. Let's give it a nose. Ooh. Smells like good Buffalo Trace. It's very heavy on the stewed fruits. Caramel and stewed fruits. The faintest hint of cherry cola. Wow. Smells delicious. But it's not overly complex. That's what you get. You get the stewed fruits, a little bit of cherry cola, and caramel. That's it. It's not... For 10 years old, you thought maybe it should bring more to the table, but it doesn't really bring a lot of oak. I'm not getting any oak at all, really, on this. Smells proofy. Let's give it a sip. Wow, she is spicy. Ooh. Proof overwhelms nearly everything about it, to be honest. And I love high proof stuff. This is smoking hot. Intense caramel, intense that stewed fruit, cherry cola type note is there. Although I'm a little disappointed for the hype and the age statement of 10 years. I mean, is it worth $100? Yes, I gladly pay that. Would I pay more than $100? No. I wouldn't. It just... The heat overwhelms it, and it doesn't actually bring a lot more to the table. Let's take a second sip. Oh, it's just torturing my tongue. That is one of the spiciest things I've had. Oh. So hot. Yeah, I don't know. I think it could have been better executed, to be honest. Whew, that's not as good as Coy Hill, and that's in that age and proof range. Not even close. Should you pay secondary prices for that? No. $100 is good. But the heat overwhelms a lot of the flavor, which is unfortunate. I don't really have a good comparison for that. A good comparison would be like E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Right? That might be a good comparison. I can tell you some Stag Juniors I have are better because the heat doesn't overwhelm it. So the Stag Junior is better to me. So I don't know. That's an oddity. But how about we try a little John J. Bowman 100 proof instead tonight? I mean, it's not going to measure up in terms of proof, but these are 9 to 12 years old, so it should measure up in age. Let's just take it out of the bottle. See, the nose is actually a little better on this. You know what? You know what? This is better. There's just deeper, intense flavors that are not overwhelmed by the proof. This actually tastes thicker at 100 proof than that does at 144.5. Now, how does that happen? Let's go back to the... I mean, the nose is better on the cask strength, but it just the proof overwhelms the flavors. Still singeing me after the third sip, and oh, it's just hitting me wrong tonight. The John J. Bowman's actually, this particular single barrel is actually better. This is my favorite single barrel though that I've had of theirs, so maybe it's unfair if you just have an average single barrel, but this is actually better than the cask. So go spend $50 again. Go spend $50. Don't really have to hunt it, and you don't have to spend $100 or $1,000 on secondary to get something that could be better. I don't know what else to tell you. Except this is better to me tonight. Seems weird. I would have bet a paycheck that the Ace of Bowman Cask would have been better, but it's just too hot and like thin. Thank you again, Anthony, for sending those samples. And what we learned tonight is price doesn't always mean better. Tonight, two $50 bottles beat bottles that cost double, quadruple their price. And it just goes to show you not everything is price related in bourbon. So if you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button, everyone. Thanks. Have a good evening.